Oh, hi guys, I'm Nick and welcome back to Sci-Finatics. Well, today we're talking about the next episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Subspace Rhapsody, the musical episode. And we've got a sneak peek scene, extended sneak peek scene for you to have a look at today. Managed to combine a few bits and pieces together to give you a little bit of an extended look at what we're up for next week's episode today. It's going to be an interesting one. I was a little bit maybe a little bit skeptical when I first heard of the notion of this musical episode for Star Trek, but it's been done before in other shows, as I've mentioned in previous videos like Buffy and The Flash and everything, to reasonably good effect. Obviously, I'll reserve my judgment until next week when it airs, providing the songs are good and they're catchy and they give you that kind of earworm kind of thing going on, and our cast members have got good singing voices and them singing doesn't undermine their credibility as characters, then I'm all for it. I think if that all works nicely together, then I think it'll be a great episode. If for some reason, maybe some of our cast members don't have great singing voices, the songs aren't that good, or them singing completely undermines their credibility as characters, that's when I'm going to get a little bit worried. So hopefully they've managed to do an episode that's, honours the characters. Our actors have got good singing voices, the songs are catchy and, memorable, and hopefully all those boxes get checked, and we're up for a really great episode of Star Trek. In this week's episode, we've got the Enterprise coming into contact with some kind of unusual spatial anomaly that's floating through space that they're trying to communicate with. Let's take a look at this sneak peek scene and have a chat about it as we go, and see what we're up for what appears to be the beginning of Episode 9, Subspace Rhapsody.
That's our 12th attempt at sending a message through the subspace vault.
13! That's not exactly what I would call a lucky number. What makes you think that this particular fold will lead to faster communication?
Frequencies propagate through it 3 times faster than normal.
Unusual space phenomenon is kind of a staple of Star Trek, and exploring, unusual entities and phenomenon and strange nebulas that have strange effects and everything is something we've been kind of doing for years in Star Trek. It's a good kind of backbone of Star Trek storytelling.
With our current relay network, it takes weeks to send a message across the quadrant. Imagine being able to do it in moments and getting a near instant reply. Real-time communication across thousands of light years. Only so far, no one's heard us.
We're thinking, obviously, their communication with this entity is of some kind of success, because we know by the time we get to Next Generation era, we've got the Enterprise communicating with Starfleet from the other side of the quadrant. By the time we get to that time in Star Trek, this instantaneous communication that Uhura speaks of is commonplace. So maybe this is the beginnings of more advanced level of subspace communication in Starfleet.
Have you tried sending music through?
We have not. Do you believe music may yield a different result?
Well, you are trying to communicate through a medium with different laws of physics, so perhaps fundamental harmonics are the answer. It's just a thought.
I love Pelias. She's such a great character. She's sort of cheeky and wise and, a little bit of reverence sort of thing, all wrapped up into one character. She's sort of a very interesting character. I love her, her sensibilities and the way she sort of speaks to people, because she's so old and wise. She sort of can get away with a little bit of cheekiness from time to time, which I love.
But perhaps an excellent one. You picked a song, Yoda.
Well, let's see if Subspace is a fan of the Great American Songbook, huh?
It'll be interesting to see in this episode whether we get some, classic music, whether we get all original songs, or whether our crew end up singing, as, Uhura mentions in this moment, more well-known songs from the Great American Songbook, or the Great Songbook of Earth. And interesting to see how this is incorporated into the communications with this particular entity and so forth. Kind of reminds me a little bit of, communicating with the flying saucer in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. musical notes to communicate with aliens. It's a classic one.
In olden days, a glimpse of stocking was looked on as something shocking, but now God knows anything goes.
Well, clearly music has worked. It sent a big shockwave through the Enterprise, hitting every crew member as it passes through the ship, and it will be very interesting to see whether its effects are gradual, whether we start to see musical influence creeping in on a gradual basis, or whether it is in fact instantaneous. And from this very moment, our crew are all influenced and under the influence of this anomaly, and immediately start breaking into chorus numbers and songs. Obviously, with the trailer, there's a lot of singing and dancing in this episode. If you haven't seen my little clip of that trailer, click up here and you can take a look at that. I know there's 10 musical numbers, original songs in this episode. It seems like there's a fair bit of musical content in this next episode, so I'm guessing it's going to be a reasonable running time, probably at least 60-minute episode, if not potentially even longer. I know this episode has kind of got its own poster and everything, so it seems like it's going to be a bit more of a bigger event episode. Feels like it could potentially even be like a short feature in length. Maybe this is going to be our longest episode of the season, based on the amount of musical numbers we have to get through. There's going to be, I'm guessing, plot wrapped up in this as well. It's not just going to be song after song after song. They're going to have to be, solving problems and everything, and then they'll break into musical numbers. So, yeah, if there's 10 songs to get through, then and we got a bit of plot and everything to progress through as well. It could be quite a decent length of an episode. But I just hope that, yes, the musical numbers and songs are great and catchy, and hopefully all of our cast can hold the note, hold the tune. We know that Celia Rose Gooding can. We know we've sort of got a bit of a sampling of her musical talent in a previous episode, but everybody else is still a little bit of an unknown factor. So I'm under the impression that a few of our cast members do have some past Broadway experience. So yeah, hopefully that works in their favour, and this turns out to be a really enjoyable episode. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to Sci-Finatics yet, please don't be shy to do so. Click on that big subscribe button to stay current and up to date with all the latest Star Trek news on YouTube. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know whether you're looking forward to this next episode of Strange New Worlds, the musical episode Subspace Rhapsody, or whether you're a little bit tentative, a little bit, I don't know, not sure about musical episodes. Have you liked other shows such as Buffy and The Flash, Scrubs and so forth that have all done musical episodes in the past? Let me know what your hopes and dreams are for this next episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Episode 9, Subspace Rhapsody. Guys, also check out my merch store. Plenty of cool t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, like this one. You can pick up in the merch store. Really reasonable prices, and there's always a sale going on as well. Help support the channel and pick yourself up a bargain at the same time. I'll be back really soon with my next video. I'll catch you guys soon.